What if the 2014 NHL Draft was redrafted? Looking back at the 2014 NHL Draft right now, I think it's safe to say that if the draft was to be redrafted, the result would be totally different. There will be some major changes that could affect the course of NHL history. What if the 2014 NHL Draft was redrafted? How would this impact the NHL? At the 2014 NHL Draft, a major trade is made. The Florida Panthers trade pick 1 to the New York Islanders for picks 5, 28, and first and second round picks in 2015. 2014 Redraft. The New York Islanders select Leon Draisaitl, Buffalo Sabres select David Pastrnak, Edmonton Oilers select BUF-David Point, Calgary Flames select Aaron Ekblad, Florida Panthers select Dylan Larkin, Vancouver Canucks select William Nylander, Carolina Hurricanes select Nikolaj Ehlers, Toronto Maple Leafs select Viktor Arvidsson, Winnipeg Jets select Sam Reinhart, Anaheim Ducks select Jakub Vrana, Nashville Predators select Kevin Lebanc, Arizona Coyotes select Travis Sanheim, Washington Capitals select Kevin Fiala, Dallas Stars select Alex Tuch, Detroit Red Wings select Nick Schmaltz, Columbus Blue Jackets select Kasperi Kapanen, Philadelphia Flyers select Brandon Montour, Minnesota Wild select Victor Olofsson, Tampa Bay Lightning select Ondrej Kase, Chicago Blackhawks select Tony DeAngelo, St. Louis Blues select Jake Virtanen, St. Louis Blues select DeAngelo Heinen, Colorado Avalanche select Oskar Lindblom, Vancouver Canucks select Sam Bennett, Boston Bruins select Nick Ritchie, Montreal Canadiens select Robby Fabbri, San Jose Sharks select Adrian Kempe, New York Islanders select Christian Dvorak, LA Kings select Jared McCann, and the New Jersey Devils select Devon Toews. There are no changes in standings in the Eastern Conference during the 2014-15 season. However, there are some changes in the Western Conference. The Calgary Flames, with the addition of Aaron Ekblad, win the Pacific Division, but lose in the first round of the playoffs. The Edmonton Oilers don't trade for Griffin Reinhart, so they keep the 16th pick in the 2015 draft. Changes in the 2015 draft: Boston Bruins select Brock Besser, Vancouver Canucks select Sebastian Aho, Edmonton Oilers select Matt Barzal, Anaheim Ducks select Roope Hintz, Carolina Hurricanes select Vince Dunn, Dallas Stars select Anthony Cirelli, and the St. Louis Blues select Jordan Greenway. Originally in the 2015 offseason, two major blockbuster trades were made. The Shea Weber PK Subban trade still goes down. However, the Oilers make a different trade for Taylor Hall. Edmonton Oilers trade Taylor Hall and Teddy Purcell to the Carolina Hurricanes for Noah Hanifin, Elias Lindholm, and a first-round pick in 2016. A three-team trade is made between the New York Islanders, Carolina Hurricanes, and LA Kings. New York Islanders get Erik Johnson and Tanner Pearson. Colorado Avalanche get Brayden McNabb, Franz Nielsen, and a first-round pick in 2016. LA Kings get Nikita Zadorov, Ryan Strome, and a second-round pick in 2017. Buffalo Sabres trade Evander Kane and Mark Pysyk to the San Jose Sharks for Chris Tierney, Dylan DeMello, and Jonas Donskoy, as well as a second-round pick in 2018. The changes in the draft and the trades made will have a major effect on the 2015-16 season. In first place in the Atlantic Division are the Florida Panthers, followed by the Tampa Bay Lightning and Boston Bruins. In first place in the Metropolitan Division are the Washington Capitals, followed by the Pittsburgh Penguins and New York Islanders. The first wildcard team in the Eastern Conference are the New York Rangers, and the second wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference goes to the Philadelphia Flyers. Missing out on the playoffs in the Eastern Conference are the Detroit Red Wings, Ottawa Senators, Carolina Hurricanes, Montreal Canadiens, Buffalo Sabres, Columbus Blue Jackets, Toronto Maple Leafs, and New Jersey Devils. In first place in the Central Division are the Dallas Stars, followed by the St. Louis Blues and Chicago Blackhawks. In first place in the Pacific Division are the Anaheim Ducks, followed by the San Jose Sharks and LA Kings. The first wildcard spot in the Western Conference goes to the Nashville Predators, and the second wildcard spot in the Western Conference goes to the Calgary Flames. Missing out on the playoffs in the Western Conference are the Minnesota Wild, Colorado Avalanche, Arizona Coyotes, Winnipeg Jets, Vancouver Canucks, and Edmonton Oilers. The Pittsburgh Penguins end up winning the Stanley Cup in 6 games over the San Jose Sharks. The 19th pick in the 2016 draft goes to the Colorado Avalanche as part of the Erik Johnson trade, and the 21st pick goes to the Edmonton Oilers as part of the Taylor Hall trade. Changes in the 2016 draft: New Jersey Devils select Austin Matthews, Toronto Maple Leafs select Patrick Laine, Edmonton Oilers select Matthew Tkachuk, Columbus Blue Jackets select Clayton Keller, Winnipeg Jets select Pierre-Luc Dubois, Minnesota Wild select Alex DeBrincat, Detroit Red Wings select Carter Hart, Colorado Avalanche select Samuel Girard, and the Edmonton Oilers select Filip Hronek. A few trades are made in the 2016 offseason. A 3-team trade is made between the Edmonton Oilers, New Jersey Devils, and Florida Panthers. Edmonton Oilers get Riley Smith, Pavel Zacha, and a second-round pick in 2017. New Jersey Devils get Vincent Trocheck and Jordan Eberle. Florida Panthers get Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Damon Severson. Carolina Hurricanes trade Justin Falk, Lucas Wallmark, and a first-round pick in 2018 to the Calgary Flames for Dougie Hamilton. Toronto Maple Leafs acquire Matt Duchene from the Colorado Avalanche for Jake Gardiner, James Van Riemsdyk, and a second-round pick in 2018. The Tampa Bay Lightning decide not to trade Jonathan Drouin because they don't have Brayden Point or Anthony Cirelli. There are some major changes in the 2016-17 season. In first place in the Atlantic Division are the Montreal Canadiens, followed by the Ottawa Senators and Boston Bruins. In first place in the Metropolitan Division are the Washington Capitals, followed by the Pittsburgh Penguins and New York Islanders. The Columbus Blue Jackets hold the first wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference, and the New York Rangers hold the second wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference. Missing out on the playoffs in the Eastern Conference are the Tampa Bay Lightning, Florida Panthers, Philadelphia Flyers, New Jersey Devils, Carolina Hurricanes, Buffalo Sabres, Toronto Maple Leafs, and Detroit Red Wings. In first place in the Central Division are the Chicago Blackhawks, followed by the Minnesota Wild and St. Louis Blues. In first place in the Pacific Division are the Edmonton Oilers, followed by the Anaheim Ducks and San Jose Sharks. The Nashville Predators hold the first wildcard spot in the Western Conference, and the Calgary Flames hold the second wildcard spot in the Western Conference. Missing out on the playoffs in the Western Conference are the Winnipeg Jets, LA Kings, Dallas Stars, Arizona Coyotes, Vancouver Canucks, and Colorado Avalanche. The Pittsburgh Penguins end up beating the Nashville Predators in 6 games in the Stanley Cup Finals. Since Jonathan Marchessault isn't available anymore, the Vegas Golden Knights select Jason Demers from the Florida Panthers. Originally, the Vegas Golden Knights select Brayden McNabb from LA, but he is now on the Avalanche, so the Vegas Golden Knights select Derek Forbort instead. Riley Smith isn't a member of the Vegas Golden Knights anymore, since he is now an Edmonton Oiler. Changes in the 2017 draft. Toronto Maple Leafs select Elias Pettersson, Detroit Red Wings select Nico Hischier, Vancouver Canucks select Robert Thomas, New Jersey Devils select Martin Necas, Florida Panthers select Phil Hedl, and the Vegas Golden Knights select Pierre-Olivier Joseph. In the 2017 offseason, a few trades are made. A 3-team trade is made between the New York Islanders, Toronto Maple Leafs, and Buffalo Sabres. The New York Islanders get Ryan O'Reilly, Leo Komarov, and a first-round pick in 2018. Toronto Maple Leafs get John Tavares and Marco Scandella. Buffalo Sabres get Matt Duchene, Travis Dermott, and a second-round pick in 2018. Columbus Blue Jackets trade Brandon Saad to the Vancouver Canucks for Sven Baertschi, Sam Bennett, and a second-round pick in 2018. Edmonton Oilers trade Matt Barzal to the Chicago Blackhawks for Artemi Panarin. Tampa Bay Lightning acquired Ryan McDonough and Kevin Hayes from the New York Rangers for Tyler Johnson, Vladislav Nemesnikov, Libor Hayek, a first-round pick in 2018, and a second-round pick in 2019. New Jersey Devils signed Evgeny Dadonov to a 3-year deal worth $6 million per season. These changes will cause some major changes in standings during the 2017-18 season. In first place in the Atlantic Division are the Tampa Bay Lightning, followed by the Toronto Maple Leafs and Boston Bruins. In first place in the Metropolitan Division are the Washington Capitals, followed by the Pittsburgh Penguins and New Jersey Devils. The Florida Panthers hold the first wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference, and the Carolina Hurricanes hold the second wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference. Missing the playoffs in the Eastern Conference are the Philadelphia Flyers, Columbus Blue Jackets, Montreal Canadiens, New York Islanders, Buffalo Sabres, New York Rangers, Ottawa Senators, and Detroit Red Wings. In first place in the Central Division are the Nashville Predators, followed by the Winnipeg Jets and Minnesota Wild. In first place in the Pacific Division are the Edmonton Oilers, followed by the San Jose Sharks and Calgary Flames. The Anaheim Ducks hold the first wildcard spot in the Western Conference, and the Colorado Avalanche hold the second wildcard spot in the Western Conference. Missing out on the playoffs in the Western Conference are the Vegas Golden Knights, LA Kings, St. Louis Blues, Dallas Stars, Chicago Blackhawks, Vancouver Canucks, and Arizona Coyotes. The Washington Capitals end up beating the Edmonton Oilers in 6 games to win the Stanley Cup. At the 2018 draft, the Ottawa Senators trade the first pick in the draft to the Detroit Red Wings for pick 3, 34, first-round pick in 2019, and Gustav Nyquist. The 18th pick in the 2018 draft goes to the Calgary Flames as part of the Dougie Hamilton trade, and the 18th pick in the draft goes to the New York Islanders as part of the John Tavares trade. Changes in the 2018 draft: Detroit Red Wings draft Rasmus Dahlin, Arizona Coyotes draft Andrei Svechnikov, Buffalo Sabres draft Noah Dobson, New York Islanders draft Evan Bouchard, LA Kings draft Joel Farabee, Vegas Golden Knights draft Grigory Denisenko, Columbus Blue Jackets draft Ty Smith, Carolina Hurricanes draft Liam Foundy, and the New York Islanders draft Rasmus Sandin. A 3-team trade is made between the Vegas Golden Knights, Ottawa Senators, and Anaheim Ducks. Vegas Golden Knights get Mark Stone and Marcus Pettersson. Anaheim Ducks get Erik Karlsson. Ottawa Senators get Cody Glass, Eric Brandstrom, Sam Steele, a first-round pick in 2019, and a first-round pick in 2020. Anaheim Ducks trade Cam Fowler to the Buffalo Sabres for Jonas Donskoy, Zemgus Girgensons, and a first-round pick in 2019. Detroit Red Wings trade Thomas Tatar to the Arizona Coyotes for Anthony Duclair, Lawson Krause, and a second-round pick in 2019. Edmonton Oilers trade Milan Lucic, Juha Kara, and a first-round pick in 2019 to the Philadelphia Flyers for Shane Gostisbehere and Wayne Simmons. Florida Panthers trade Nick Bjugstad to the Dallas Stars for Matthias Janmark, Stephen Johns, and a second-round pick in 2019. New Jersey Devils trade Will Butcher, Jesper Bratt, and a first-round pick in 2019 to the LA Kings for Jake Muzzin and Mike Amadio. Buffalo Sabres signed Peter Mrazek to a one-year deal worth $2.5 million, and the Carolina Hurricanes signed Robin Lehner to a one-year deal worth $2 million. The 2018-2019 NHL season will look very different because almost the entire league looks very different. In first place in the Atlantic Division are the Tampa Bay Lightning, followed by the Toronto Maple Leafs and Boston Bruins. In first place in the Metropolitan Division are the Washington Capitals, followed by the New York Islanders and Pittsburgh Penguins. The New Jersey Devils hold the first wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference, and the Buffalo Sabres hold a second wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference. Missing out on the playoffs in the Eastern Conference are the Carolina Hurricanes, Columbus Blue Jackets, Montreal Canadiens, Florida Panthers, Philadelphia Flyers, Detroit Red Wings, New York Rangers, and Ottawa Senators. In first place in the Central Division are the Nashville Predators, followed by the Winnipeg Jets and Dallas Stars. In first place in the Pacific Division are the Edmonton Oilers, followed by the Vegas Golden Knights and the Calgary Flames. The San Jose Sharks hold the first wildcard spot in the Western Conference, and the Colorado Avalanche hold the second wildcard spot in the Western Conference. Missing out on the playoffs in the Western Conference are the Anaheim Ducks, St. Louis Blues, Arizona Coyotes, Vancouver Canucks, Chicago Blackhawks, Minnesota Wild, and LA Kings. The Edmonton Oilers end up winning the Cup in 5 games over the New York Islanders. The winners in this scenario are the Buffalo Sabres, New Jersey Devils, Edmonton Oilers, New York Islanders, and Toronto Maple Leafs. The losers in this scenario are the St. Louis Blues, San Jose Sharks, New York Rangers, Chicago Blackhawks, and Philadelphia Flyers. The Buffalo Sabres have a high-flying offense centered around Jack Eichel, David Pastrnak, Jeff Skinner, and Matthew Shane. The Edmonton Oilers have a prolific offense which includes Connor McDavid, Brayden Point, Artemi Panarin, Matthew Tkachuk, Elias Lindholm, and Riley Smith. The Toronto Maple Leafs have a prolific offense that features John Tavares, Mitch Marner, Elias Pettersson, Patrick Laine, Viktor Arvidsson, and Nazem Kadri. The New Jersey Devils have an offensive core that features Austin Matthews, Vincent Trocheck, Kyle Palmieri, and Evgeny Dadonov. The New York Islanders have a well-rounded team built around Leon Draisaitl, Ryan O'Reilly, Anders Lee, and Brock Nelson. The St. Louis Blues don't have Ryan O'Reilly, and as a result, they don't win the 2019 Stanley Cup. The San Jose Sharks don't get Erik Karlsson, and now have to face Erik Karlsson 6 times a year when they play the Anaheim Ducks. The Chicago Blackhawks and Philadelphia Flyers are stuck with aging veteran players that will prevent them from signing key free agents. The biggest takeaway from this scenario is that by redrafting the 2014 NHL Draft, basically the whole landscape of the league would look entirely different. Next, what if Austin Matthews was drafted by the Arizona Coyotes?